Hello, guys. Today I have very special guest in my webinar. I have Sarah. Sarah is a very beautiful coach for men, so man coach. It's really very interesting because most of the time, people I met, they were older women or men who work with men, and I would like to know more about how did you came to this profession. What is your background? What did you study? What did you learn? Why did you decide to stay here? And what do you like about this job?
Well, thank you, first of all, for having me. Very honored to be here. So, my journey started back when I was in graduate school. I've always loved relationships and studying communication and couples and love and attraction. So, I was going to get my master's degree when I was living in Boston. So, I'm a licensed couples therapist. That is my background. And when I was living up in Boston, I was surrounded by some of the most brilliant men because we have Harvard, MIT, all these universities right in my city. And these men were brilliant and they were successful. But a lot of them were single. And I thought, why are they all single? And there were a couple of reasons. Some of them were really, really shy and socially anxious because their whole life they had been focused on their career and success, and they never really bloomed in the social sphere. And then there was the other men who maybe did date a little bit growing up and do have some experience, but they're so busy in their careers that they just want someone to help them take that time component away and help them date in a more efficient way. So I started coaching right the day that I finished graduate school. I launched my first coaching company up in Boston and really enjoyed it. And since then, I've coached on and off for the past 10 years, but really decided that I wanted to go all in and relaunched my company, Modern Meat, last fall. And I can now coach men all over the world, and it is just the best experience. I'm really enjoying it.
You mentioned two reasons why men are single, and I can add one more, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Many women, because I work with women as well, many women think that successful men, they automatically know everything about women and they know how to communicate. And being successful in business in this boys world, it doesn't mean automatically they know how to deal with us, with
Yes.
girls. It's so
Yeah.
it's so different, and it's really like in the school you have to explain this difference. So I do it all the time, and I really appreciate that you took this very important part to educate men.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think it's just like you say, in life we have many roles, right? Who we are at work is different than who we are with our friends and different than who we are with our family and certainly who we are with our romantic partner. And that's one role that some men just have not tapping into that version of themselves of who they are as a husband or a boyfriend. That's the relationship that they might just need a little support. So I totally agree.
And I heard another opinion about modern men right now. They really lost their role. So especially for men, it's very complicated right now because they used to be providing the family, earning money for the family, but now we women we are getting more and more independent, more and more successful, and even more and more rich. And men really needs more support because they have to find their new role in this modern society.
That's right. They used to look to their fathers and say, well, this is how my father was, out in the world and his career and at his home life. And this was the relationship I saw. But that world no longer exists. And so they are lost and they are looking for role models. And some of the role models out there, I don't think are the best, especially as a lot of toxic masculinity and teaching men some things that I don't think are really going to help them long term. So I think having positive role models to coach men as these new roles are evolving in real time is so important.
What is the main problem you see when clients or your spectators first come to you? What is the most I don't know, most popular problem? What's from your opinion?
I posted a video on my TikTok and I think I have over 13,000 comments on it. It's been viewed almost 13 million times. And it was about the fear of approaching women in public. I think that that is something, no matter how skilled you are, it's something that really resonates as a fear. And so that's definitely something that I coach men through. I explain all the different strategies and techniques and what do they need to look for and what's the most opportune time and what do you do if she's with her friends, what do you do if she's got her earphones on. There's so many variables, and I find that when men have a plan, they are much more confident. They know exactly what they're going to say, they know exactly how they're going to leave, how to get that phone number, and that's one of the most important things that I think I can teach.
Yeah, it's more than important, especially since this Me Too movement explored. It means we women or society with women together put men in really very complicated situation. On one hand, we women inside of us expect strong men with initiative who care of us. But on the other hand, me too. Don't touch me, don't talk to me, so I am unachievable. So, it's sexual harassment. Don't touch me. How it's possible, as I said, poor man.
It's
With women, it's
very complicated. Yes,
very,
for
very,
everyone. We're
yes,
all figuring it out.
especially in the States,
Yes.
especially in the States, because you can be sued for everything you do wrong.
Yes, and especially with the rise of technology, a lot of men will say, if I ever approach a woman in public, someone could videotape it and I'm going to be out on the internet and my reputation is ruined. So there's a lot of ways that communication, technology, and dating are just all linked together, and we're all navigating it in real time.
Yesterday I spoke with one woman. She lives in Spain, and you think about Spanish men being really machos and approaching women. She said, no, they are not. They are not at all. They are so afraid of women. They're so afraid of this first contact, so they will wait until she takes him, until she hugs him, and probably the first kiss will be from her and not from him.
It's a whole new way of looking, and these roles are ever changing, and if people don't know that, then we're going to have a lot of people missing signals and not connecting with each other. So it's challenging, I think, across all cultures, and they are very different, depending on where you are.
Yes. So I remember in my youth, it was just okay to be spoken on, to be greeted on the streets. But nowadays, no, nobody is only talking with thumbs.
Yes.
And that's all. Yeah.
Absolutely. The next generation, Gen Z, they're really utilizing the online space to meet, whether it's Instagram or dating apps, and they are really reticent to approach in person and are much more comfortable in the online space and communicating through the online space. Whereas my clients who maybe are coming out of a marriage after 20 years, they've never online dated, they've never sent a text, had a texting relationship. They used to call women on the phone. Now that's considered so old fashioned to pick up the phone. So there's a big gap. This technology has changed so quickly that there's definitely a learning curve for all men.
Have you got clients who come to you just because they would like to meet somebody who is much, 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 much younger?
So not usually.
Really?
I think that any man who watches my videos knows, I'm very much a feminist. I want equality in relationships. I think there's nothing wrong with dating a younger woman. My husband is 11 years older than me. But if someone was coming just specifically looking for a 22-year-old and he's a 50-year-old man, I would be very curious as to why that is his preference, because I have a lot of guesses as to why he might be hoping to attract someone who's younger, and they're probably not going to be the best fit for me for my coaching.
And what would be the reasons from your point of view? What are the reasons why elder men search for daughters? Not even not for younger, for daughters. What do you think? What are the reasons?
So I won't speak for every single man, but I see the pattern that these women are simpler. They have not yet been out in the world. They are much more allowing of an older man to decide where we're going to live, where are we going to eat, what are we doing, because he has had the life experience and he can have a lot more control and power in that relationship. So if he has just come out of a relationship with a woman in his age range with the same level of experience, success, money, opinions, because look, in our early 20s, we're still figuring out who we are. We don't have all of our set life opinions. We haven't experienced enough to know. They feel that it will be much easier to and less fights by having that power dynamic that I know better because I'm older and she's going to come along for the ride. So that's a big kind of flag for me when I hear that.
Absolutely. So as I said, it's searching for the daughter. I remember I have one client, he's about 55. And first thing he said, I would like to meet a woman on the same intellectual level. Okay, fine, okay. And his choice was first choice 18, 19, 20 years old. And he is 40 and all this. You know, so how do you imagine? Because there are girls out of the school. And if we are talking about, being on the same level of imagination and wisdom and so on, it doesn't work like this. I didn't notice their age. I just look at their smiles. 10 women, 19, 20 years old. Oh, I didn't notice it. I did notice their age. How it's possible?
And most of those young women do not want a 40 or 50-year-old man. Most are not interested in that. So I would, highly encourage any of my clients. I always ask them what age range have you been searching for women in? And they've all been pretty appropriate. So I think, again, the men who are attracted to my kind of coaching, they're usually very aware of how age can impact the relationship and the quality of the relationship. And they are looking for equal partners.
If you have a client who constantly tries to refurbish his dating strategy, but it's always, I don't like your appearance, I don't like this, I don't like your face, I don't like your legs. So it's always about your appearance and never about looking deeper about character and values. So he's on the surface and not going to look down. What is your advice in this situation?
Yeah, so I do a lot of mindset work with my clients. I do a lot of dating history to find out, what their experiences have been with women and how deep of a connection can they be? Are they able to be vulnerable with women? Can they show their true selves? If a man is so focused on the physical, I would imagine there's a level of emotional immaturity there and that he has not yet developed the awareness or the skills to be able to connect with a woman in a meaningful way. One way that we work through this is by identifying what are your non-negotiables, and those non-negotiables are the things that you must have in your relationship with someone for it to be long-term and successful. And having pretty hair is not what it takes to be long-term and successful. So that's diving deeper. That's getting to the root of your heart, your values, and your core beliefs. And those are the things that we're going to be talking about. And those are the things we're going to focus on.
Agree, absolutely. I can sign really under every word you said. What is your recommendation, or where do you start if a man comes to you and said, all women, they want only money from me. They're only on money and it's not about my soul. What is your advice?
So part of when I do my in-depth coaching, one of the questions I ask my clients is, how will you be alerted if the woman across the table from you does not meet your values? What kind of things will she be doing or saying? So if he's only attracting women for his money, well, first of all, what kind of dates are you taking her on? Are you giving too much too soon and focusing more on the date than the connection? So that's kind of one way to slow it down. But we want to see, how is he contributing to attracting women who are looking for money? And also, is he staying in relationships with women who are saying, oh, will you take me shopping? Oh, I love your fancy cars. Oh, this is what I want. Well, those are all your red flags going boop, 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 and you're inviting it in. So you have a responsibility to say, I saw these red flags and I know this woman is not for me.
And I can add, very often men who says they have no money at all. So it means, so it's something like not, I am not able to find the right woman for my life, but something, they just want money. Because I have no money, so I'm safe.
That's the excuse.
Excuse. Yeah. Very nice excuse. Oh, no, I'm absolutely safe. They want money only.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it very much because I think your approach is not about changing people, because very often if you talk about coaching, especially in Europe, and most of my clients, they are from UK or from the Germany, so people really scared of this dating coaching, life coaching, because they imagine they will change all my life, all my character, all my opinion. They will change something in my brain, like artificial intelligence. I will be like robot. And it's really, I think, very important just to show it from the women's side and say, look, it's not fair what you're doing now.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of the comments I get from men through social media is, oh, well, you shouldn't need strategies to date. You should just be yourself. And I say, you can be yourself and date smarter. So I always say, like, when I talk about strategies for dating, which is what I teach, it's like, I go grocery shopping early in the morning instead of at 5 o'clock in the evening, because there's less crowds and it makes my experience a lot easier and less stressful. It's not changing who I am. It's changing my approach to making something easier and more enjoyable. That's what I teach for dating. Why do it the hard way when there are easier, faster, and more efficient ways to do it? So I get that response too. This isn't about being fake, changing who you are. This is about using what you know about yourself to find a match that's actually going to appreciate those unique qualities about you and be your perfect fit. Because I think there's somebody out there for everyone. And I'm sure you do too.
As matchmaker, because I am on the next step after your education, I can say that men or women without strategy, it ends like, good morning, dear. Good evening, dear. Good morning, dear. Good evening. Wish you a nice day. And that's all. So it's without strategy. They have no idea what is the next step. Video date, call, or real date if they live in the same city. They think that writing something, or this, I think it's the most hated question, how are you?
How are you?
And men don't understand why we women hate this question.
Yeah, learning that communication is so important. Yeah.
Yes. How are you? And she didn't answer. I always say, because in the question, how are you? There is only one answer. I'm fine, thank you. And you? I'm fine too. So conversation finished.
Done. Nowhere to go.
Yes. And what I get from my clients, complaints. She's not serious. Why? Yeah, because I wrote to her, she didn't answer. But what do you usually do in your business communication if you don't get an answer? I write once again. What's the problem to write to her once again? Oh, I don't want to be annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. And if they don't have someone to talk this through with, they can be making the same mistakes over and over, and they might be with the woman of their dreams and their communication style and their approach is just not clicking and resonating with her. And so it is important to have feedback from someone like a matchmaker or a coach to say, there's a better way. You're going to have a better response.
Have you ever tried?
Yes.
Have you ever tried? Maybe you have to try different, something like not how you, I'm going to do this and this and this, and what are your plans for this day?
Exactly.
Oh yes. Oh, man. And
yep.
Yes, and I host webinars for men every week, and sometimes it's really frustrating because we chewing the same problems again and again and again, again and again, again. Even I can say, and I got this opinion from a lot of colleagues of me, that working with men, it's still more simple than working with women. Because most of the time, do it like this. Sure, yeah, done. And with women, you can repeat it really a lot of times, and until they really believe you give right advice, they will not follow it.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to work with women?
I've thought about it. The reason that I don't is that I did feel that men were at a very serious disadvantage. And so that was the population that I always was most interested in working with. And I think it's for a couple reasons. You know, women tend to be more open talking to their friends, their family about relationships. They have a lot more support. We've been reading, you know, magazines since we were teenagers about relationships, and we just have this attitude that it's okay to talk and to ask for help. Whereas I think for a lot of men, they don't talk about relationship and love and communication, even with their closest friends. And they're socialized in a different way where it's not emphasized enough, and they don't put it as an important skill to develop until they realize, oh, I'm ready to get married and I don't know how to be a partner. So I feel like I am coaching men for the women in my life who say there are no good men out there. Like, let
Yes.
me help you bring more great men into the fold. That is my contribution to the women of the world as opposed to coaching them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because you're absolutely right. Because women are more interested in psychology. They read more books. They follow some coaches, watch videos. It's a lot of discussion what to do and how to change this approach. But men, they are mostly, so I am man. It's enough. Especially if he's handsome, especially if he's with money, handsome with money, so it's enough. And he doesn't understand why it doesn't work. I have so many such clients. They're really very nice, but can you try it in different way? Maybe we should change something. No, I know what to do. I am a man. Okay, do how you want it.
Right. Learn the hard. There's, like I always said, you know, you can do it your way. And eventually, when you realize that you're making the same mistakes over and over and over and ending up right where you started, maybe it's time to try it a different way.
Have you got clients as a dating coach for men? Have you got clients who are already in relationships and they try to rescue it?
I have been getting an increased amount of inquiries from men in relationships, and there are relationship coaches, which I think are probably a better fit. I'm a couples therapist, so I still see clients for counseling, which is obviously different than coaching. So I see value in both, but right now my main focus is just helping men on their dating journey get started on the right foot. So I'm not working as much with, you know, couples or men in relationships. I do get the questions, but not my specialty area right now.
You mentioned this that you give advice how to start conversation with her if if she is running with your headphones. Can you share this advice, please?
Sure. So this comes usually in one of two ways, when they're either just sort of like out at a cafe, you know, and they're listening to music or doing their work, or at the gym. So gym, I know in different countries gyms aren't as popular, but gym culture is very popular in America, and a lot of men see women in the gym that they want to have a conversation with. So if it's just let's just start with like the cafe example. It's very important to first make eye contact, because if she's really working, it's probably just not going to be the right time to approach. But if she's, you know, taking breaks and sipping her coffee and looking around, and even if she's got her earphones in, if you catch her eyes for a few seconds, smile, and you get that smile back, um, that is definitely a sign that you can, you know, take your time, but eventually kind of go up, and you know, she'll take her earphones out if she sees you approaching. So that's one way. And if she never takes her earphones out or doesn't look at you again, probably not the right time to approach. It is challenging. Now, if someone's at the gym, usually you can hear if a woman has music going on. So if you catch her eyes and you say like, excuse me, and you make this little moment, she'll take it out and say, oh, I heard that song playing. Like, do you like this band? Or like, what is that? I really like that. Can you tell me who it is? And depending on her response, if it's very short and quick, she is not interested in talking to you. She just wants to work out. But if she has the open body language and she's chatting, then you're good to go. And ask her, like, is there a smoothie place nearby? Like, I was going to get one after I worked out. Do you know of any around here? And if the conversation's going well, you can, of course, invite her along or say, we'd love to get a smoothie sometime after a workout. So those are just two very specific examples, but I think there's always a way to do it.
I like this, I like this song. Even she doesn't, even she doesn't.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what this is.
Doesn't matter, important is that he asked a question and she answered. Yes, yeah, I like, but so I think the problem with single people, especially who really try to solve the problem, is this honesty. I want to be honest. I have to tell her everything. I have to inform all the world about my problems. And I think you have these arguments all the time, but why should I say that I like this song if I have no idea? It doesn't matter. Just the reason to start conversation.
It doesn't matter. She'll be very happy, that you reached out and said something. And I think people are afraid that they're bothering people. And I just say, look, if it's a short answer or she's just like, I'm working out, I'm busy. Okay, cool. I'm like, that's not your person. She's not interested. We move on to the next person. It's no big deal.
Okay, it's my next question. On this journey, from asking about songs, asking about nice coffee places, all men who want to be successful in their search, all men get a lot of no's. What is your advice, or how do you prepare men for this a lot of rejections?
So we talk a lot about rejection or perceived rejection, especially in my coaching group. And I always tell men, a woman who doesn't know you can't really reject you. She doesn't even know who you are. She knows nothing about you more than the 10 seconds that she's experienced of you. And I also say, it's not just that she's rejecting you. I said, there's a million reasons, many of which you will never know as to why she said no. She could have just gotten bad medical news from her doctor an hour ago. She could be going through a terrible breakup. She could just have found out she's moving cities next month. You will never know why she's turning you away. It has very little to do with you. And I also say, every no that you get, it's just a blessing in disguise, because the woman who is going to be your future partner, she's going to be so happy that you came up and asked her out and that you were brave enough to go meet her. Like, it will be a clear yes. It will be worth going up and getting shot down. And the more you do it, you realize that the world goes on. You didn't die by being embarrassed. And I say even supermodels like get rejected sometimes. Even the most famous actors and actresses get turned down. Like, everyone experiences this. It is not just you. And the right person, it's going to be a clear yes. It's going to be worth it. And so you've got to keep going.
Sometimes I give my clients, more female clients, I give advice, so everything what's happening in this dating on the way to the right person, it's really like training. And the more skills you have, the more prepared you are for your right one. And in the moment you meet for the right one and your brain will turn off just because you're full of emotions, you have skills to go on.
Yeah, that's right. It's so much easier.
Yeah, if you know what to do, if you got a lot of no's and you're prepared, okay, it will be next one, no problem. Sarah, I have another question. It's not about your dating strategies and not about your advice. You work with American men. Can you, your opinion, what is special about American men?
Oh, I think that American men, they've all grown up buying into the quote unquote American dream, right? That looks like, this is for talking about heterosexual, middle class men for the most part, that you can grow up when you're a little boy and you can become a baseball player. You can be the president of the United States and you can have the the white picket fence in the house with the wife and the kids and the dog. And like, this is how a lot of men grow up. And that's really in their heart what they want. They really do want a partner. They really do value the contributions of women. And I think that right now, I mean, men are seeing how women have just, you know, they've come onto the workforce. They've made so many amazing, innovative changes. They're powerful and wonderful partners. And I think that American men are growing and evolving, and that they do really want to be great partners. And so, I mean, I love American men. That's where I live. That's who I've dated. My husband's an American man, and he's the best. So yes, they're wonderful.
Really interesting. It's something like I heard it's like alpha softies.
I'm
Like
sorry, it's what?
alpha softies, you know, because you know it's a lot of about this alpha man, you know, in this dominating behavior. But alpha soft is something like, yes, I want to achieve my goals, but on the other hand, I am ready to listen to woman and what she wants, and following up what are her dreams and not my only. Alpha softies.
I think that that's definitely a great way to describe it. And, you know, whereas 40, 50 years ago, women were really home with the kids, like they've seen that things have evolved, and we're all just trying to adjust with the changing times. And I think it's challenging for everyone to be like, okay, how do two partners work and run a home and be parents and be out in the community? And it's a lot. And I think people need way more support than what they have. It can be really isolating for people to try and juggle this American dream that we've all been promised.
Yeah, because American dream is this great thing and everybody knows what is it, but it's something like to put very high standards. And if you're not able to reach this higher level of expectation, you feel that you're a loser and you don't know how you cope your own life.
Right. Yeah. And I think people can have it all, but I always say you might not be able to have it all at the same time. So while you're really focused building your career, maybe that's not the time that you jump into dating. Maybe you need to wait a few years until you have space in your life to dedicate to being a good partner to someone and not working 100 hours a week. So I think managing expectations for American men is definitely part of the puzzle.
What is your advice for men who come to you and say, "Dear Sarah, I would like to meet the right woman, but I have no time for dating"?
Sometimes I always say, you know, is that a story you're telling yourself, or is that a fact of that you literally from start to finish during the day have no time? Because we all make time for what matters to us. There are certain things that we will always make time for. You know, I think of like Oprah Winfrey has a boyfriend. She's the biggest, you know, a female millionaire, you know, in America. So if she can have a relationship, then you are not too busy, right? You can make time if it's the right partner who can understand your busy schedule. I think, you know, the excuses as to why someone can't date, whether it's I'm too busy, I don't have money, I have too much money, blah 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 blah. Sometimes we tell ourselves these stories so that we don't have to try, because it makes us vulnerable and we might get hurt. And so when I hear that, I wonder, are you really ready to be dating? Because maybe there's some fear around what would it mean if I don't find the woman? What would it mean if I do find the woman? Would my life change too much? Am I ready for that change? There's a lot of, I get very curious. I ask lots of questions of these clients and kind of dive in to find out what's really going on behind that.
I had not even several times, quite many times, the situation. They started relationship, and I'm international matchmaker, so it means my couples, they live very often not in the different countries, but sometimes on different continents. And you know, women believe that men thought about, planned already a relationship they are in already, and if it's really so far to make this most important step, move in together or get married, something like really very important, men realize they're not ready for a relationship. And I have some, not so many, but quite many couples that where men understood before this most important step that it's really the challenge is too big and they cannot cope with.
Yeah, I mean that look, to move anywhere for a partner is a very big responsibility. It's a big risk. And I think all relationships, whether you're long distance or live in the same town, there's a risk every time because you never know how it's going to play out. And I think getting more comfortable with that uncertainty is part of how you become successful in relationships, of just diving off the deep end, diving into the deep end of the pool and saying, I'm just going to see where this takes me. And it can be very challenging.
It's probably like in business. If you're a business owner, you have to risk. Otherwise, you will never be successful.
I just started that journey last year when I went all in with this. So I know you don't know how it's going to go. You just believe in it and you have faith and you keep moving and you hope for the best.
Yes. Do you work with your clients as individual sessions, or you run the groups?
I am about to launch my monthly membership group. So that will all be group coaching. So I'm very, very excited. That's going to launch May 1st. So I'd love to work with any of your clients who are interested in that. And I find that, you know, how we were talking about how men don't have a lot of support. What's amazing about my community is it is an international community of men who are all very supportive of the other men in the group on their journey, because even if they are so different from different cultures, they all have the same thing in common, which is they all want relationships, they all want to find love, and they're all excited to start that journey. So that is my group coaching program where we do question and answers and we do different dating seminars, and then men can all talk to each other and ask questions and get support from that as well. And then I work one-on-one with my VIP clients where we spend one day together and we really do all this deep diving coaching and get their online dating profiles reset up, and I help them get really clear on what they're doing. And then I coach with them one-on-one for about 3 months. And so those are the two ways that I work with clients.
I personally like this group dynamic very much. I also have group. It's not for coaching, but it's really for supporting each other, because we women, we get a lot of compliments, a lot of support from our families, from our friends. So we are more closer. We understand how to work in the teams, and men, they are usually alone for themselves, achieving their big boys goals. And in this men group, it's really so interesting. Sometimes somebody asks a question, I had no time to look in the group and answer, and other men answered already. So it means I'm not involved at all at the moment, because they communicate under each other and help each other so much. So men are really amazing if you manage to get them into groups.
They are desperate for that connection. They are just ready for it. And if it's easy for them to find it, like by joining a group, they will participate. And I know it is very impactful for them, and they can be such great support for each other.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for such interesting conversation. You know, it's really so interesting, and I always think it's amazing. I'm in the UK now, and you're in America. I'm a matchmaker. You are a dating coach, but we speak about the same, you know, in different words with different examples. We are talking to our clients about the same things.
Love is the universal value for everyone in this world.
The best value in the world.
That's right.
Thank you so much for interview. I will post all your contact information under this video, so all men who would like to join your amazing group and get your amazing advice, they can contact you directly, follow you on TikTok. You have amazing TikTok, because 150,000 followers. It's great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me and for all the work that you do for the people of the world to find love.
Thank you. You know, we are sitting now like, you know, like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And yes, but compliments and acknowledgements, they are basic values. So that's why we have to give it and we have to get it. Otherwise, we are not feeling well. You know. Right. Yes. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you a nice day today. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.